Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jesse Foster, and this is my health blog. This is the second update that I've done so far. I was planning on doing it every week, and it has been 2 weeks since my last update. Um, so the reason that happened was I think I really overwhelmed myself in the first week. I basically gave myself so many like workouts and different stuff that I was to do that I really overwhelmed myself with all that, and the stress and the anxiety of it led to me actually taking a couple days off because I overworked myself and stressed myself out a little bit too much. But lesson learned, and I'm going to continue going forward doing this once a week. How things went last week, they went pretty well. Or over the last week, they went pretty well. Um, as far as the nutrition went, I did a pretty good job of sticking to my guidelines, and I did overeat a little bit, but I think that was the result of like using it as a coping mechanism for stress, which is something that I've done in the past. Um, so I just need to lower my overall stress level, which is going to be key. So work on my mind. I only read. I didn't do a little bit of reading on like my on my mental health, but I didn't do the other things I wanted to do. So I have some work to do on that. I need to start doing that more frequently and make it a priority. I think again I probably set myself a few too many things, and it didn't end up working. The amount of stuff that I had to do led to a lot of high anxiety, which led to me not doing things because I was so stressed. Sleep, I slept pretty well. Yeah, I don't usually have trouble sleeping because I use sleeping pills. So fitness, again, like I overworked myself. I got in too many workouts in a row, and just kind of, you know. So as a result, I did get in like 6 workouts a week on average over the last 2 weeks, but I had a couple days that I took off, and I think if I had not overworked myself in the first place, I probably would have had to have done that. As far as rock climbing goes, I made some progress on one of my bouldering problems, which is, for those of you guys who don't know rock climbing, that's when you're climbing without a rope on boulders or rocks that are like uh, somewhere between 10 and 20 feet off the ground. And so I'm working on V4, which is something I've never done before, and I'm trying to finish that off. And it's a really long one. I mean, if you mapped the distance from one side to the other, it's probably like around maybe 100 feet with an elevation change of 20 feet, but it's at like a steep overhanging. So it takes a lot of strength, but I'm getting stronger on it. And then I've sent 8 of the 10 B circuits, which was not one of my goals last time, but is something I'm pretty proud of because I've never sent all the B circuits before, which are basically just a circuit of boulder problems that you can do. Um, and then I did my first C circuit, which is one I've never done before, and I'm pretty proud of because I didn't even think I was capable of that. So I didn't work on my lead project, and the lead project is it's when you're climbing with a rope, but the rope is just clipped into you, and then as you go along, you clip into the wall. So that's different from top roping, where the rope is just hanging down. With this, you're actually going up there, and on this route, I'm actually going to be climbing upside down on the roof and then clipping as I go. So it's a little bit outside my comfort zone for that reason because it is a little bit scary. It's totally safe because we take a lot of safety precautions, and the falls are, you never hit the ground or anything. So, but I need to work on that this week because that route will only be there for so much longer before they get rid of it. So Taekwondo, I only did a little bit of bag work. I'm a little bit disappointed in that. And I didn't work on my forms enough, again, because I think I set the bar too high. Stretching, I did pretty well stretching. My goal was to stretch after every single workout. Didn't manage to do that, but I did manage to do like 75% after 75% of my workouts, which for me is a massive improvement because in the past I haven't done it at all. So plans for this week, uh, kind of in the other section, I made a bet with my climbing partner Roger. to limit my intake of alcohol and marijuana. So yeah, I smoke weed. I'm not like too ashamed to say that. I think I'm not really, don't really think it's a huge deal, but I guess saying it on the internet feels a little bit weird. Um, but yeah, so I've just decided that for me personally, alcohol and marijuana, well, they're both depressants, and I already have issues with depression and anxiety. And for me, those are both like coping mechanisms that I use um, to deal with my anxiety and depression. So when I get down, I take them basically to take the edge off. But the problem with that is that it ends up making it so that I don't have to actually deal with my anxiety or my depression, which makes it so that I actually get worse at dealing with it and leads to the problem becoming worse. So um, I'm not going to quit smoking or drinking because I don't believe, one of the things I believe in is moderation in all things. And quitting something completely for the rest of your life or even for a period of time is a very extreme solution. So what I've done is I've basically, with my friend, we've made a bet that if I go over like a certain threshold that we both agreed on, then there will be like a really strong deterrent. And I'm not going to go into what the deterrent is. Maybe in the future I will, but it's pretty strong, and I will not be losing this bet. So yeah, it's just good to have a friend that keeps you accountable, and I'm really grateful to Roger because he's helping me with this. So yeah, so my marijuana consumption, my alcohol consumption will go down, and usually, if you were to graph like my caloric intake and my marijuana alcohol intake, there's just like huge spikes in my caloric intake when I drink and smoke weed, which for someone who's trying to drop body fat is not a good thing. So my body fat should drop a lot as a result of this, and this is going to go on throughout 2012. So I'm pretty actually excited about it. I'm a little bit like, oh man, like can't party as much as I'd like to, but I can still party. I just won't be drinking or smoking as much. So there's one rant. Um, Nutrition. I'm just gonna try and stick to my guidelines. Being mindful, eating slowly, eating small portions, etc. I'm trying to have a small caloric deficit, which basically means, you know, if I can burn 300 more calories each day than I consume, then over the course of a week, that's just over a half a pound of fat, and over a month, that's 2 pounds. Over a year, that's 25 pounds of fat. And 25 pounds of fat for me would result in me being a lot fitter than I am now and reaching my goals. So it's just all about small changes over time. That's what I'm going to do with my nutrition. So for my mind, I'm going to see my therapist. So I see a therapist. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I think a lot of people actually could use it, and it's really helpful to me. So I'm going to go see her and, just work on my mind and being healthy and happy. I'm also going to review some materials that I'm reading about anxiety. I took a class in anxiety management, and I've got a bunch of materials, so I'm going to be going over that. Sleep, again, just sleep enough, but not too much. Ideally, at some point, I want to stop using sleeping pills. I'm not going to do work on that this week, though, because I think that would be a little too much. But just sleep enough, not too much, like somewhere between 8 and 10 hours every night. It's good. Fitness, just gonna do my usual thing. I'm gonna climb 3 days a week, which is a pretty good workout. 2 of those days will also have circuit workouts built into the climbing workout. I work out with my training group at the rock climbing gym. It's a really good team. And then I'm gonna go to Taekwondo 3 days a week, which is always a pretty solid workout because we do a pretty solid warm up that includes a lot of core stuff in it, and then there's the sparring, in which spar, and that's a really good cardio and basically total body workout. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of work on the bag, and I have a punching bag in my backyard that I use to work on my kicks and stuff, and then working on my forms twice a week, which is basically the forms are kind of like the art form of martial art. They're basically choreographed movements, but doing them like you're fighting basically an imaginary opponent. Um, so specific things I'm working on for rock climbing. I'm going to be working on my lead project, climbing on the roof, like I said. Work on my V4, and I'm going to work on sending the last two B circuits so that for the first time in my life I'll have finished all the Bs, which is, you guys don't really know what that means, but basically it just means, a massive improvement for me because a year ago I couldn't do any, and now I can do all of them, so that's pretty awesome, I think. So for Taekwondo, I went over those things I'm going to do, but I'm also going to be testing next week. And that's something I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to be moving up in belts from green belt to blue-green belt, which, to simplify it, means I'm about, if 1 was like a white belt and 10 is a black belt, I would be at a 4 with the blue-green belt. So I'm about 40% of my way to the black belt, which is something that I eventually want to do. So yeah, I'm just going to focus on that and do my extra work outside of class and show up for class every day. Oh, and tomorrow I'm putting in another extra day at the dojo. I'm gonna go in and train with some people. So stretching. That's the last thing. Is just stretch after every workout. It doesn't really take that much more time for me to stretch after a workout. It's just basically remembering to do it. So, but it's really important for all of my goals that I work on my flexibility. So, yeah, that's that. That's my goals for the coming week. I think that these are a little bit more attainable, sustainable goals. And yeah, so I'll be seeing you guys in a week. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye.